Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my video, man. Make sure you like and subscribe, share the video out, and all the other good stuff. Now, you hear me at the beginning because it is late, my head hurt, and I am tired. You feel me? So, show some support. Make sure you do the things I did, laid out for you. Like, comment, sub, stuff you do for everyone else. Go ahead and do it for your boy. So, man, putting in the work, trying to grind up, man. Look. These are going to be the nature precision single target boss damage loadouts that you want, okay? I got a couple different variations for you, okay? So we will hop into it without further ado, okay? Whew. Let's go, man. Let's go. Now, as you know, dual wheel's the way to go. Weapon socket, well, all the white mods really. Blast adapter. Head socket, we're going to use Critical Carnage 3, especially with EOG nerf. You could go ahead and pop in that Neo Venom boost 3, just supercharged Neo Venom boost 3 with that 5% of your super back whenever you use your supercharge. But depending on what kind of group conversation comp you have, goodness, will determine if you use Critical Carnage or the supercharged one to get the 5% back, okay? Now, if your group is spamming out EOGs like crazy, you always have a supercharge ready to go. You can always keep popping it left and right. No, you might as well pop in this Critical Carnage, take full advantage of everything your group is doing for you. All right. Now, if you pop a supercharge here, there, and whatnot, then go ahead and use the head socket, supercharge, Neo Venom boost, rank 3. Get that 5% back so you can spam the supercharge out a little bit more, okay? Now, if you ain't making no type of supercharges, you ain't doing nothing of the sort like that, your supercharge bar is empty. And I mean dry. Go ahead, pop in that Critical Carnage. That's going to be the way to go for you for now, alright? So, I just want to go ahead and lay that out for everyone that needs to know what the deal is, what it ain't. Neck, relentless precision DPS, I think that's self-explanatory, man. Back, I preach it every time. Berserker's the way to go. You drop below 35% quite often. Your healers just heal you right back up, so you don't really notice it. And those who do notice it know you don't get the Berserk additional 10% damage. Well, it's absolutely insane, because there's not a lot of stuff in the game that does 10% additional damage. So it stacks on everything else. Chest, penetrating strike's the way to go. It's the best one. It's better than core strength. Been better than core strength for probably since like tier 3 on up. So, penetrating strikes. Legs, restore serpent claw is the only one that actually applies to anything. It doesn't scale, so it's still not a big heal, but it's decent, I guess. Feet, dashing combos, not required, but I use it on my might build, so I kind of just haven't changed it over yet. Hands, max damage, or DPS, you should be using max damage. Face, you can use straight precision, but I like to use precision might. I do both precision and might builds and loadouts and rotations, so it's best for me to just have precision might. It actually does very good because of the loadouts that we do. Well, a lot of variation that we're gonna show here in a second. Now, I would say if you're really trying to just min-max everything, go straight precision. Precision health could be argued as well. But really, whatever best suits you. Precision and power, if you're really just struggling with power like that, even with the troll, then I would really ask what your troll doing. Other than that, precision might's good. Precision is just good. Straight up might is not going to be your best friend as precision DPS, so I would definitely change that to at least precision and might. But straight precision also good. Very, very good. Okay. Now, affinity mods, type A and B is always for DPS. Type C and D is always for support. That is my rule. I suggest y'all stick to it. Okay, all type C and D mods are garbage for DPS anyways, and they're way too good for support roles, so might as well just cater to that. Keep pushing, get your 2% stats for type A and B mod. Now, I have might in, you want precision DPS. I had might because I was doing might DPS at first. And this is a while back, and I just haven't changed it since. I don't feel like spending the source marks. Keep going left, right, left, right, left, right. That's tedious. Don't like it. Now, for our trinkets, tier 3 pet, you already know what to do. Obsidian Show videos went over the whole one, like which one's the best and all that, so you can check that out. Mother box, father box, alpha box, all of them are like in the same vicinity of like top 5. So go ahead. If you want to turn it does more quick burst damage, but not overall total damage. So there's that. Buff trinket, always one of the first things you should grab from the vendor, and it's gonna give you the most. So it's the best thing to do. On my trinket, if you're a precision DPS, you should definitely have this. You can pick it from Dr. Fate. It's very good. You get 125% health, base health buff, which is going to be fantastic for our buff trolls to give us more precision, or might, depending on what they're spec'd for. And it also gets us 5% critical weapon chance. Absolutely phenomenal. That is going to help quite a bit, especially with the whole crit meta and whatnot that we are in. Now, it was very supercharge heavy. It was even before that, before supercharges heavy like that, and even while supercharges were heavy, you still wanted to focus on your crits and how much crits you can push out. That's why stuff like transformation cards are so good. Okay, we're definitely in crit meta. We've been in crit meta for a very long time. Getting your crit even 5% up is phenomenal. Okay, phenomenal. Now, the 4th slot, I have this Gotham City Emerge Signal. It does very, very good damage. It takes a long time to come back off cooldown, but you can get this from the Gotham City starter pack. It's one of the bundles. It's like, it used to be like $7, but I think it's like $8 or $9 now. $10 if you haven't bought anything from DC like ever and don't have like no kind of discount or anything. So yeah, there's that. It definitely, gives you 25% experience boost if you're leveling up, but really we're using it for damage. It does a good damage, like over 300,000. I think it's close to 400,000 now. But if you're like a pet DPS, this thing does insane damage. It used to on the very low end, like over 500k, and high end it was like 800k. So that's just nice damage. You know what I mean? It's like another overstrike to me, just on the ground. But we also have it in that 4th slot because we can just swap it out with a supply drop when we put on, Philosopher's Stone, Orbital Strike, put on that Decking Scepter, and backup Henchman whenever we need them, swap them out and whatnot. Now, since it does have a longer cooldown than all of these other ones, you'll kind of be off engaging it sometimes, so just be careful with doing that, okay? Now, in terms of, artifacts that we just kind of talked about, some of the swap ones that we do, we want to go ahead and pop in that Venomous Dispenser, Transformation card, and Strategist card for our loadout here, for all of our rotations, all of our loadouts, all of our builds that we're doing for boss damage, single target damage, whatever kind of damage you're really trying to talk about. This is damage we're doing. Okay, that's the artifacts that we're using. Now, in terms of allies, I said this in my AoE precision build, but let's go over it again. Crypto, one best ally. You can have single target. Some people like House of Legends, but he's cool, does less damage than Crypto, but still good. They're both cheap to get and cheap to level, so there's really no excuse. Go ahead and get them leveling up. If you are nature, there's no excuse for you not to have Poison Ivy and max it out as high as you possibly can go. I'm a little bit, on the short side because I've only got 7 out of 10, so don't at me. Damage could be better, okay? Damage draws could be better when I turn my gear, but I already tested everything with this gear on, not the gear that is maxed out from the vendor. I could buy it, but then kind of throws everything off in perspective when everybody's looking at the numbers. It's like, oh, what does it better, the might or precision? It's not fair if I already did the might videos at a lower CR with lower gear and then bumped up my gear and CR and then did precision videos and just made them look way better. That's messed up. Come on now. So with that being said, let's hop back into this. Batman Labs, the best all around one. Very consistent, always up, always going to be there. You have like 10 seconds of a difference between how long the buff lasts and what it's going to go to. So every 30 seconds you get it, so there's that. But yeah, you could use static if you were popping supercharge like that with the static overcharge. You pretty much more likely you're gonna be using a 5,000 for the Neo Venom, so you get 6% crit chance for your abilities and your weapons. That's very, very good. But Batman Who Laughs, you get 7.5 crit chance for 20 seconds. So decisions essentially. Okay, if you're gonna be popping supercharge like that, Sag's gonna be where to go. If you're not, Batman Who Laughs gonna be where to go for crits. If you just want pure raw damage, Shazam is definitely a good viable ally, but it's only when your combat ally is going to be used, which is Crypto. Mind you, comes back decently well, but there is a big gap in between of when you're able to use this and when you're not. So if you want more consistent buffs, once again, Batman Laughs will be a way to go. Okay. Now, in terms of our skill point spec, weapons, dual wield, get all of them a mastery. We're gonna try to get flurry shot, so we gotta go over here to bow, get all these weapon mastery, and then come back to the dual wield, and then you're able to pop one in that flurry shot right there. Okay, for our movement, get your go fast, and if you're super speed, you can definitely go ahead and get this Whirl Endeavors down here. If you're over like 450 to 500 skill points plus, your resistances, restraints, and breakout masteries and all that is definitely going to be the way to go. Go ahead and get them. They're just good quality life things to have. Okay. Now you don't have to get all the extra ones if you're super speed either. Just Whirl Endeavors. That's it. Now in terms of iconic powers, Robot Sidekick, Neo Venom Boost, and once again 450, 500 plus skill points. Super Strength. It's very minimal. You're not really going to see it, but it does help. Okay. Stats, Weapons Expert, and this power generation does get negated with Batman Who Laughs ally, which is another reason why you could and pretty much should run him for most cases. It'll give you 35 power generation. Wow. Our focus here takes away 25% for power generation. Well, because with Batman Who Laughs we get 10% additional. Hey, it's good. All the, the bonus of this focus, none of the downside. So it's very good. But in terms of importance, it's pretty much straight down the line. You get your critical attack chance first, critical attack damage second, up everything precision next. If you have anything left over, might and power, but I will recommend at least getting one into health and one into vitalization if you are struggling with power generation. Okay. Since we're going to be using our weapon quite a bit, it's always good just to have a little bit of vite up in there. Now, dominance is if you're doing a lot of solo activity, in the solo and the duo, stuff like that, and you need to back some enemies on up, go ahead and get a little dominance, man. It's going to help you just stun stuff and push stuff back, really do a little bit of control effects, alright? Other than that, dump everything by power. Now, if you get 300 plus skill points in any of these stat point nodes down here, then each additional level is very, very good and very high. Similar to how when you first spec into health or, light down, whichever one, when you first spec into it, it's similar to that. Okay. Now, what do I mean by that? Pretty much whenever you're like 11 to 300 skill points in any node, you barely go up any per skill point. But once you hit 301, 302, whatever, like over 300, anyone after 300 goes up by actually a lot per skill point. Okay, similar to how when you first get the 1 skill point into the node, or when you put 5 skill points in the node and you get that percentage buff, or you put 10 skill points in the node and you get that percentage buff, which is also something I recommend for the health. 1, 5, or 10 into the node is very, very good. But anything past 300 is very good, so keep that in mind when you are speccing into these nodes, especially if you have a lot of high skill points, or if you had to sacrifice not speccing, the additional tornado pull and phase dodge, because you need, a couple more into that. Go ahead and do it, man. Now in terms of actual loadout here, we're going to have 2 variations. One is our super speed, as you see, and one without super speed. Okay. Now the one with our super speed is going to be as follows: Serpent Call, Carnage, which we're going to clip together. Then we're going to do a weapon combo, do Voracious Plants here, weapon combo, Whirling Dervish. Pretty much go back and forth between weapon combos and Voracious Plant, weapon combo, Whirling Dervish, back and forth until Carnage is back up off his 12 cooldown, so we can keep going and clip Serpent Call into Carnage and then keep going from there. Now we also have Robot Sidekick and the Infinite Boost always on deck and ready to go. Robot Sidekick should be up at all times for the most part. I know if it keeps getting destroyed in like higher tier content, that's definitely something to consider. I will also consider just replacing it for a shield, just for a little bit more survivability in that higher tier content, because it takes more hassle to summon him each time if you can't clip him. Now, even a boost, you already know the deal. Supercharge, come on now. Now, with all of that being said, similar to the AoE loadout that I already made a video about, should be up on the channel if you haven't checked it out already. Pretty much the same loadout here as well. And the other loadout's gonna be the same loadout as well too. I'm not gonna front. These are some of the best loadouts for nature, especially precision based at the moment. So hey, there's that. But the rotation is different. Now this rotations, like I said, clip the first two, weapon buff. You could do this right here, similar to how the AoE rotation went down, but what I'll recommend is actually putting in 2 weapon combos in between. You hitting between Voracious Plants, then you put in 1, 2 Whirling Dervish, clip out of that by hitting your weapon button again. Pretty much go from there. Oop, messed that up. But yeah, you'll see we're in like the 140s and whatnot. It's very dependent on the, oop, kind of messing up and tweaking there a little bit. It's very dependent on the strategy card, I'm not going to front, for that to go up and just your overall ability to crit. Because we are in a crit heavy meta, that's why we kind of expect in 1 for the crit, and 2 we have stuff like OMAD Trinket, Static if need be, Batman Laugh if need be, to go ahead and make us crit even further. Even so far as taking the head mod as well to make sure we crit even further. Okay. So with all that being said, this is a super speed variation. It hits okay. I'm not really blown back with single target nature. I would have to say it's a little disappointing, unfortunately, but nonetheless, this is one loadout that you can definitely use. I liked the other loadout that I was using before. Now this one does do more, I would say more consistent damage on up. The loadout that I'm about to show you that's non-super speed variation has the potential to do more damage than this one, but typically this one does a little bit more damage. Okay, I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's the potential, and the other one is there because of the amount of dots is it. Now if you don't know, I kind of gave it away. It's pretty much all dots, so you go ahead, throw in the Vine Lash, you throw in the Briar, then you throw in Harvest, so if you have AoE enemies and all that, you can deal with them as well. And you pretty much just pop this and pop all your dots there. Hit 2 combos, clip those 2 together, Harvest into Carnage. Hit 2 combos into Harvest. Now you can also do 1 combo into Harvest, but I like doing 2 combos into Harvest. Let's see, it does 137,000. It's a little bit less damage. But definitely keep in mind it can ramp up. This I hit pretty high. I forget exactly what was the highest number. I think it was like in the 170s. It wasn't 180 yet, but it was like almost 180. It was high 170s. So that is if everything crits. So definitely keep that in mind. See, I clipped it too early, and stop the damage of it. It's kind of bad. I apologize, y'all. See, now I'm not clipping earlier. We're getting up higher. Sometimes with precision now, change they made. See, it's almost 170 right there. And we get even higher. The highest I hit was in that like higher 170s mark, almost 180,000 per second, which is very good because there's no buffs, no trinket, no nothing, no supercharge, no cola, no cookie, nothing. Okay, and my stats for this is as follows: 176,319 might and 126,027 precision. My augments here, head augments, both precision. This from the previous DLC, so it's a little bit lower, and this one's not ranked up, so don't at me. All my origin ones are all precision and they're max, so hey, there's something. But yeah, these are the two loadouts, super speed, non-super speed. This one I like more, and it's definitely more consistent, especially for those elite plus and whatnot, and elite raids and all that, and encounters, like alerts, duos, whatever. Especially because you just have all the dots going, and in the midst of you trying to block for a mechanic, you can just go hit harvest again and then hurry up and block, okay? And just keep your dots just on ticking, let the boss just keep taking damage. It doesn't even count too for those ones where you can't like hit the boss or whatever, because the dots are already applied before and they don't necessarily count as you hitting them again for you yourself. So definitely, it's always a nice little thing to do, especially if you're you have to block, but you need to kill the boss because there's a timer that's going to one-shot the whole group and all that. Hey, let the dots burn them down. It's going to be okay. But yeah, without further ado, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the video out. If you get any other suggestions for loadouts or builds, rotations, whatever, let them know in the comment section down below, okay? I've tested everything I get a hold of with YouTube, with websites, Discords, in-game, and whatnot, okay? I try to test everything pretty extensively and pretty thoroughly with all the different variables being controlled as possible, with all the buffs and everything, and these are the best two loadouts for you, okay? So without further ado, I've already said it, like, comment, subscribe, share the video out, all the other good stuff. Peace and shalom, y'all.